to Well Life with Linda Harris. So happy to be here with you today. We're live. It's 5/29/24. And I've got a friend and a guest here visiting with me today. I'm going to give her official title first, and then we're just going to get down to business, just using her first name because we've known each other so long. Dr. Eileen Carter. She is the owner of Comprehensive Rehab in Wilson, North Carolina. And as soon as I knew I was going to be doing these shows, I contacted her and said, I want you to be on my show. And let's talk a little bit about what you do, about your business and everything. And so that's what we're going to do. I've known you probably a little over 20 years, I think.
Yes.
Probably I've known you longer than that, but as far as being closer friends and other stuff, it's been like that. So it's been a long time.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Well, you're welcome. I'm so excited you're here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. I just want you to share with the viewers, with me too, a few things about your business.
Okay.
Again, as I said, Eileen owns Comprehensive Rehab in Wilson, North Carolina. She's been a physical therapist for a very long time. I'm gonna let her tell the listeners a little bit about you, about your background in physical therapy.
So, thank you for asking me. I went to East Carolina University, go Pirates, and I actually, at the time of physical therapy, there was only a Bachelor of Science degree. Okay. So I got my Bachelor of Science degree at ECU in 1981, so that kind of tells you my age.
That's okay. We're both young still.
That's right, we're still young. I started when I was 13. But, and so then I decided, as I was growing my private practice, I needed to learn a little bit more about business. So I went back and got my master's in business at East Carolina. Loved it, great university, great professors. And so then as our program developed throughout the United States, we went from BS to master's, and now we're doctorate level. Okay. So when I was getting these patients and new patients and new research was coming out, and then we started getting students that were at the doctor level, I said, I need you to go back. Yeah. So luckily, I was able to do what's called a transitional doctorate of physical therapy through Northeastern, and they have a Charlotte campus, so I was able to do it through the North Carolina campus, and loved it. So it was considered a virtual program. It was not face-to-face like we are now. And really was able to apply things I learned with my patients then and said, this research is working. And so our practice of Comprehensive Rehab of Wilson is evidence-based practice. It's based on things that we see that are research that's safe for the patient. So that's how that's gone as far as my professional career.
So how many years have you had your business, Eileen?
So Comprehensive Rehab of Wilson's been open for 30? Almost 32 years. Yeah, 32 years. In fact, this May will
That's
be
a good
32 years.
businesswoman. That's all I got to say.
But I've been in private practice myself since '85. But the company itself since 1992.
Good.
So,
good for you.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to ask you this: what inspired you to be a physical therapist?
Well, that's a good question. So I was honored to be Founders Lecturer for the North Carolina PT Association that's now called APTA North Carolina. So that's our professional organization for North Carolina. And in the Founders Lecture, that's what they wanted you to talk about was how did you get interested? Yeah. So I'm going to go back to age 5.
Okay.
And my father was a coach at the time, and we lived in a town called Roanoke Rapids. Anybody out there from Roanoke Rapids? And we helped a coach that had what's called Lou Gehrig's disease, or ALS. And we had all kinds of contraptions where there were swings and levers and lever arms that just like I was just like, this is magic. And I could help him move his arms and legs that he couldn't do on his own. And that was probably my first introduction of mobility and movement. Age 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I can tell you that I've had friends of the family and friends that said, I remember you telling me in the 8th grade you wanted to be a physical therapist. Well, my mother is a retired nurse at this time, but at the time I decided to go to PT school, she taught nursing. And I think it was just that combination of the medical field and mobility and learning. And so unfortunately, had a knee injury in track my senior year at Fike High School, and had physical therapy, and I knew I'd made the right decision. So before I even graduated from Fike in Wilson, North Carolina, I was on my way. I was on my way.
How about that? Wow, at 5 years old.
Yeah.
And isn't it interesting? It's so neat when you know at a young age what you want to do and you get to accomplish it. That's
very blessed. Very
blessed.
Is. Yes.
And knowing that you guys, I can tell Eileen's passionate about what she does, and man, I know she's passionate about her business, so to me that would be a great business. You want to go somewhere where people are passionate about what they do and helping you.
And I have wonderful staff that works with us that are just as passionate, and I think that's the reason why we've been blessed and successful. I say blessed and busy.
That's
and
right.
Getting through the COVID storm, I mean, that took a lot of energy, a lot of prayers, a lot of just interaction, collaboration with my staff, with our patients, understanding, we're only going to be open, having all the things in place to be safe for the patients. And I'm going to tell you, I was very proud of our staff during that time. And I call them work family. It's not really staff, it's work family. And we work together to take care of the patients, not only in our clinic, but also in the homes that we visit too, because we have contracts in home health.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I know. I hear you talk about your staff all the time. How much you appreciate them and love them. And
hello out there.
Hello, Eileen.
Yeah, they said, hey. All right, so comprehensive rehab peeps.
Yeah, and a few of you guys always come by and see us at Well Life too. So
that's right.
I appreciate you too. So that's pretty cool. That's neat to do. All right, so let's see. I think you already covered your doctorate thing. I was going to ask you about that, so I'm going to skip by that.
Okay.
And then I want to ask you this. Although I know there's nothing brief about explaining what you do in a day's time.
Sure.
But I've got a friend actually, who is fixing to have surgery, and I referred her to you for after to
total knee joint, right?
for knee or something. And so say her or anybody expecting any or that's going to have any kind of surgery or just needing to go into rehab from an injury. When you go to work as a physical therapist, I know you've got all your duties as the owner, but as a physical therapist or the other physical therapist, what happens when that client makes their appointment and comes in the first time? What happens in a day's time in what you're doing with them?
Normally we'll get that referral base from either a physician, nurse practitioner, maybe a physician assistant. Okay, but normally it's from the orthopedic surgeon that's done that. So for your patient, like for your friend.
Yeah.
So she may or may not be in the hospital one or half a day. It depends on how well she responds and what the orthopedics protocol is. Okay, so for example, she may be in the hospital for 1 or 2 days. Now, if she is a person that relies on someone to help care for her, she may get home health at that point.
Okay.
And normally it's a home health setting for about 2 weeks. So then they finish that and they say, okay, they go back into the doctor, everything looks great, I want you in outpatient physical therapy.
Okay.
And outpatient physical therapy could be a freestanding clinic like myself, or it could be hospital-based like here in Nash County or in Wilson County. So what happens is they basically will usually call in, and then our staff, my administrative staff, who are great, by the way, will call that patient and say, let's just say her name is Sally. Sally, this is so-and-so, and I just want to let you know this is comprehensive rehab, and your doctor's ordered physical therapy. So we need to set you up. They can actually go online for our company and actually fill out some demographics and get all that paperwork out of the way. But we have to sign, as you know, in your care, that you have to have HIPAA guidelines, that you have to follow privacy law acts that are, not just North Carolina based, but also federal. So they do all that paperwork, and then they get started. So that first day is get to know each other like we're doing right now.
Exactly.
And how things going. And when you do that evaluation, every question you ask, you're doing that evaluation already. Watching them walk into your clinic, watching them walk down the hallway. And so you do that evaluation and you get them set up right then and there. You talk about clinical symptoms to prevent infection. It just goes on and on about education. So that's very important.
I say the same thing. I was telling you earlier that we are switching to a new system, booking system to better suit us as a clinic with the wellness and things that we do. And so I was having to, of course, transfer all my forms over and make sure everything's getting sent out to the clients about the Privacy Act and all. And even though in my profession, we don't legally yet in North Carolina have to abide by that, but I always do. I've just felt like that is very important for the clients to know. But that's a big thing. But another thing, when I'm working with clients about health and wellness, or they have an issue and they're coming in and to talk to me, they'll fill out paperwork ahead of time online if we're able to get it to them, unless it's a last minute thing. I had somebody show up last minute that I had helped previously this week who said, oh my gosh, something's wrong, I need you to help me. And so when you're speaking with them, you're right. Whether we get massage clients in, you watch their gait, how they walk, you're watching how they move. But when I'm doing the health and wellness, and it's really the same, I think, for you guys, because you're listening to these people's stories and and they're giving you answers to things that you need to know, and they don't even know because they're talking to you.
Sure, sure.
But that's part of that getting to know them. So I definitely
and
understand
you know, the
that.
history of what happened prior to, like for your friend, what happened to get you to this level of that total knee. And you know, like myself, I injured it in track running, so
Yeah.
it just unfortunately arthritis. Mr. Arthur comes and visits, and he stays, and that's not very
And
fun.
you had knee surgery,
Yes,
didn't
I did.
you?
But to finish that day, we do a home exercise program that very first day with that patient. So now it's important that they've got to go home and do that follow-up. It's just not how good the surgeon did his job. It's not
what
good
you
about
gotta
what
do.
I've done. It's that patient and us having that, you know, that peace of mind and
Yeah.
collaboration to take care of themselves.
Yeah, and so you're teaching them things that they can do at home.
Exactly.
In between them
How to be
coming
more
back.
functional. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, getting. I guess when they're at that point, the doctor says, "Okay, do that physical therapy." They need to
Right.
be moving around as much as possible.
Correct.
Don't you remember? Do you guys remember the good old days when we would have surgery and we got to have a vacation? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Really, you know, years ago they kept you so still for any type of surgery for a while.
Well, now
but
when
what
I first
they
got
had
out of
found,
when I first got out of PT school, before DRGs and all this regulation with insurance and stuff came into being, we could see a total knee joint for a month.
yeah,
And then we changed the
Changed.
protocols, and it was
Yeah.
like, okay, we got to get it down to 10 days. Then we got to get it down to 5 days.
Yeah.
Well, I was in
Well,
the
it's
hospital a
because
day.
they realize through research and everything else, we need to keep moving.
And the techniques
Movement
techniques
keeps
are
the
so much
inflammation
different.
down
Right,
and everything
exactly,
else.
exactly, exactly.
So that's things have definitely changed.
Definitely changed.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Let's see. I told you about my friend having surgery, and I asked you what about that. What about? Oh, I know what I wanted to ask
Uh-oh.
you, because I know with me working with clients, I have clients that really stand out to me. You know, when I've worked with them over something and they've made accomplishments and or it's changed something in their life. So, do you have? I know you probably have many, but can you think of one right now? A case, a client, a patient. I know you can't really share their names, but because of compliance and everything. But do you have a case that stands out to you that's
Yes.
memorable?
Very memorable. And it's got a little romance story to it, too.
Oh, okay. We
So,
like romance.
this young lady was in her junior year at NC State,
Mm-hmm.
University, go back, and unfortunately was in a bad car accident with 2 other friends.
Mm-hmm.
And they were on the way to go shopping, and the guy was driving a little Volkswagen, and unfortunately, she was pinned in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the time they got her out, she was at the time it was Pitt Memorial, now it's ECU Health in Greenville, and she was in a coma and drug-induced coma for about probably, I want to say 9 weeks. It was pretty long. And her father was a professor at Barton. Do we need to go to a commercial?
I told Eileen watching, I'm going to give you a sign when you go to commercial.
Okay.
And I'm thinking it's time to take a commercial break, so hold that thought.
Hold that thought.
About this accident. And
We'll tell
we're
that
going to go
great
into
story
our
soon.
romance story when we come back. Ready for a commercial.
We'll be back.
If you enjoy hand-picked strawberries, look no further than Bozeman Farms, with 4 locations this summer for your convenience. The first at Bozeman Farms on Highway 97 East, just off Cool Spring Road, a second on South Winston Avenue across from the fire station, a third by the Shell gas station on Bienvenue Road, our 4th location at Ace Hardware in Tarboro. Fresh-picked strawberries as well as Mama Jean's homemade strawberry jam. And don't forget our sweet potatoes, all available for purchase at each location. Call 252-883-6175 for any questions or directions. Bozeman Farms, from the field to your table at great prices.
We're in our 18th year of practice at the Hammer Chiropractic Center, and we've seen over 15,000 different people in the Rocky Mount area. 40% of headaches actually come from a neck problem. Many patients come in taking multiple aspirin, over-the-counter medications and such a day, and we can get you to stop doing that and actually fix the problem so the headaches don't rise anymore. A lot of people think chiropractic hurts. It does not. Most of the people come in and they feel great when they leave.
Okay, well, welcome back. I had just asked Eileen what one of her biggest memories or of a client was that just stood out to her, and so she was telling us about an accident. Eileen, I'm gonna let you kind of recap a little bit and go on
Sure.
with that
So
story.
she, unfortunately, was in a car accident. She was in her junior year at NC State. Wanted to go into speech pathology. I forgot to tell you that. Dynamic woman, just dynamic. So she comes out of the coma. She does extensive rehab, and they have a great inpatient rehab at ECU Vita, ECU Health, Greenville. I don't want to tell it wrong, and then everybody goes, "Oh, you said it wrong." But came out of that, and the father and mother, she was a teacher, dad's a professor at Barton, and said, "Look, we want to do some really hard work with her. She's done great, but we would want you to take over her case and take care of her." And we did aquatics, we did land-based therapy in the home, in my clinic, back in the pool. I mean, we were just trying everything with her. And this woman was determined to regain everything. And let me share with you, she went back, she got doing great, still getting physical therapy, and went back to school and realized that the damage done to her brain really had affected her learning capabilities. So she realized, I think, with counseling and things like that, and things from her parents and her sister's support, that maybe this is not the route you need to go. Go to community college. So I know she went to some classes at community college. Well, she decided to do some volunteer work because she wanted to move and groove, and she wanted to do things for the community. And she started working at the crisis center, Wilson Crisis Center. So the romance part of this is her husband now, currently, and I'm sorry, I don't even know how many years they've been married, went to the wedding. But she walked down the aisle with her Lofstrand crutches and her tennis shoes on her feet. I don't know that she's walking that much now because she's had like a total hip surgery and she's survived breast cancer. I mean, this woman is a fighter all the way. They now live at the beach. They have wonderful handicap accessibility at the beach, and she is enjoying life.
Oh, well, good
and
for
her
her.
husband's now. I think he's pretty retired now. They lived with her mother for a while until, unfortunately, God took her to heaven, and then they moved to the beach. Sold the house, went to the beach. They have enjoyed life ever since they met each other. And she's done rehab off and on because of total hips and things like that, and has done very, very well. And I'd have to say that's one that has always stuck in my mind of how determined she was, and that's
She didn't let it knock her down.
That's
she,
exactly.
let
She didn't
it-
see herself
she-
as a disabled person.
That's exactly right.
She pushed forward, and that in itself was a winner chicken dinner. You know,
It is. Yeah,
it really was.
You're right. You know, we unfortunately things do happen in our lives, and I mean, you and I knowing each other personally, we've had things happen in our life too, and we can give up sometimes, or we
Right.
can keep going, and life has so much to offer that if you just keep pushing through, there's always a way. And sometimes I feel like that some of the things that happen in my life at a young age is what's led me to where I'm at right now.
Sure.
That's like I was telling Linda when I was on her show last week. I believe it was last week I was on the show with her. We were talking about when we were younger and we got married, and it changed our direction and everything. And then I was a single mom raising kids, and she's a nurse practitioner. I told her, I said, I would have loved to have been a nurse, but I always wanted to go to school to be a nurse practitioner, but I just was not able to then. But I believe it's because God led me in the direction I'm in right
Sure.
now.
Oh, sure.
So that I could do the natural and do that, and it be blended with medicine that
Exactly.
way. So you know what? I'm so happy that she was a trooper and put in that effort in her life
Yes.
and didn't give
Yes,
up.
exactly.
And had romance too.
There you go. Romance in the end.
I needed that. I hadn't read a romance novel in a long time. So, you know what? Here's another thing I want to ask you, because I know we've talked about. You mentioned the group that you were in with, the
state group.
the state group,
Professional group, right.
Okay,
Sure.
so I know you do that, and I know there are a lot of challenges, and I'm sure the same way with doctors' offices, where I've been talking to people lately, and I know there are a lot of challenges. What are the most challenges that you face, probably right now, in your business as a physical therapy office and personally as a physical therapist?
Well, I think the first challenge is our patients' accessibility to healthcare. And that could be a financial barrier, it could be a travel barrier, it could be a lot of things. We, So advocacy is very important to
Yeah.
educate and advocate, not just at the state level, but also at the national level. So I've done both, and I've been very honored and proud to do that. That's the first challenge. Let's make sure that all of our patients, no matter how old, how young they are, that they have accessibility to health care. I think the second thing that goes with that is reimbursement. And some of our patients have big copays, and they go, okay, well, I really recommend that you come 3 days a week. But because my copay so
copay,
much,
they can't
that's
afford
taking
that,
money out of
yeah.
their grocery pocket to put groceries on the table for their family.
Exactly.
So, okay, I can only come every other week.
Yeah.
So they're really not, again, that's accessibility because the copay is a barrier for them. And then us as professionals, our reimbursement rates get cut all the time, unfortunately. And we just had another recent Medicare cut, and that went across the board. It wasn't just for physical therapists; it's for occupational therapists,
Yeah.
speech pathologists, doctors, and that hurts our patient.
Yeah.
And I would think that those two are the biggest thing, but they kind of go together.
They
But I
do,
think that's
yeah.
a challenge in itself. And because of those challenges, that's why I'm passionate about advocating for our patients.
Exactly.
And I've done that where we meet our senators and House reps here in North Carolina and go to different fundraisers and say, hey, look, here's where our questions and issues are. And trying to get it set up with Congressman Don Davis, who represents our entire area, and to have him come to our clinic, Conference Rehab of Wilson, hopefully this summer when they're on a
hope
break.
so, yeah.
And talk about with patients and with us what our challenges are.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get this referral?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get physical therapy or speech therapy or occupational therapy? So and right now we provided our clinic physical therapy and speech. Now here's another challenge for my business: trying to find an occupational therapist that wants to live in a rural area.
Yeah.
Because of the workplace and the
Yeah, well, you know what? You've stated, and I think more so since COVID, several of the things you've stated are things that are happening across the board anyway in doctors. Well, first of all, doctor's office, and I mentioned this a little bit last week. The insurance companies are not paying the way they used to.
That's correct.
You know,
That's
they're
correct.
saying
Yes.
doctors' offices, I'm sure other, businesses like yours as well with therapies and all, that within the next 10 years, there's going to be such a shift because they're not able to do that. And so not only do we need people like you who are in the business advocating, but we ourselves, we need to talk to, the legislature. We need to get involved in some way. What's a way that we could do that?
Yes, we've had our patients to lobby, and we have at our national level, which is called the American Physical Therapy Association,
Okay.
where they can go and advocate on the patient portal and talk about what's going on, and they can actually send things. It's set up so beautifully. I can do it, you can do it, any patient that comes in the clinic can do it, where they send things going, hey, I'm concerned about this bill, or I'm concerned about my health care, I'm concerned about the fact that they've cut this off and now I can't get it anymore, or I'm a workers' comp case and now I can't get any care. All of that rolls into advocating for that patient. So at the national level, I was very honored to be what's called the PT PAC chair, where we go and we ask for donations from our members, and then those monies go towards the lobbying of our senators, congressmen, women, and that's at the national level. Same thing happens at the state level. So it's very important that we educate as much as we can to our patients and say, hey, look, this is a bill that's coming out. We've got several bills now that are taking care of our veterans, and I'm very passionate about our veterans that we've been very blessed to see. And one of the things has been great that not only Congressman Don Davis, but a lot of people have gotten on the board of, we got to take care of our veterans. We've forgotten the people that have kept us free, so we can sit here and talk to
that's
each
so
other.
important. Eileen, we probably could sit here and talk for a few hours, so I'm going to have you on the show again. But what I want to say to the people out there is, and to you, we don't always know what to do. I hear people every day come in my office and they're talking about how things are working now in healthcare and how things are working with insurance and how, even just getting into to a doctor's office to appointment takes so much longer now. And these things need to be addressed. And I think we all, need to, I always tell everyone I'm about education too. I want to educate you so that you can be proactive in your own care, so that you're not letting insurance or anything else dictate your wellness. You're still in control of your wellness to a certain point. Now, we might not can control the bureaucracy to everything, but we can, make informed decisions. But it's wonderful to have businesses like Eileen's, and I need to maybe get with you about putting some kind of link on my website to send
Yes,
them.
and let's do that.
Because
Yeah,
those
sure.
things they're important.
Sure.
And I think the more of us that are stepping up, stepping out, saying, look, things need to change, we need some help, and it's about our care. It really, ultimately, it's about our care, not just in physical therapy, in any type of
Any walk of life.
medical thing
Sure.
you go
Sure.
in. Even with we face a lot of obstacles too in what I do. There's laws out there where they don't always there's clashes sometimes in different things you do, medical, holistic, physical therapy, chiropractor, whatever. But ultimately, if we could all come together and decide that, hey, let's work towards the better good of clients and of patients and everything, wouldn't that be a wonderful world?
That would be wonderful.
It would be a wonderful
It
world.
would.
If I could sing the song, I would.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But it's been so nice having you here on
Thank
the
you
show,
so
and I
much.
do want you to come back because I think we've got a lot of things, and maybe some of the people in your office get to come sometime.
they would love.
If we have
well, some of them
specific-
would love it. Some would go.
Some would
"Nah,
like
nah,
and
nah."
some wouldn't, huh? Before we let you go, yes, I brought my Epiance water cup today. I've been sipping off of it. As you can tell, hey, I'm in the garden working when I'm not doing clients, and these allergies are about to get me, but I'm not going to give up my garden for that. But Epiance, remember, we have Epiance at Well Life Institute and Wellness Center. You can go to wellifeinstitute.com if you want to find more information about us. Eileen, what is your website address? Do you have a website?
Yes, comprehensive rehab.
At
Dot-
comprehensiverehab.com, and you can look that up and you can go find information. Look, I've known Eileen for years. I've had many clients that have went there to Comprehensive Rehab and had wonderful results. So just make sure you check her out. Check me out at the website, and looks like it's time to go. So
It
we
looks
can
like
let-
it is.
We can let Linda
Bye,
Prezioso
everybody.
come and talk to you about your healthy life, okay? And we'll
Thank
see
you,
you next
Linda.
Wednesday. Thank you,
Have a great
Eileen.
day.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.